And we've got one of those little robo-bugs up on screen. What's so ridiculous about all this is this governing class of kleptocrats are on total power trips, and they've got unlimited taxpayer money to surveil us and stomp on our rights while arrogantly lecturing us all day about what great humanitarians they are and how lucky we are to have them. I mean, I don't think all their high-tech crap is going to save them in the end. They've committed so many crimes. Look at John Corzine, caught perjuring himself to Congress that he didn't know where the $1 billion+ went, now caught lying, and he doesn't even get in trouble. There's got to be a limit to what these guys can get away with.
Well, you would think so, but ex-president of France, Jacques Chirac, last week was actually convicted of embezzling funds from the public to the tune of millions. And you know what, Alex? He didn't get in trouble. They just commuted his sentence and pardoned him. See, when you're on the global elites team, when you play ball with them, when you promote their agendas, you don't do jail time. Your sentence is commuted like Jacques Chirac, like Scooter Libby some years ago. And unfortunately, the American public has not made enough of an outcry, a decry, to get these systems changed so that we do convict criminals on all levels, especially at the upper echelons.
Jason, what else is on your radar?
Well, Alex, you know, we were talking about the TSA being all over. We already know the TSA has groped children, has strip searched old women, but now we've got a new one. Yes, explosive cupcake frosting. You can't go through airport security with a tasty cupcake that you bought at one of the eateries within the airport anymore, because that glaze right there, that could be the next big explosive. Forget about the shoe bomber or the diaper bomber and all those other bombers. Now liquid frosting is a hazard to flying.
And of course, we can laugh at this, Jason, but what they're doing is always expanding what's a threat so that everybody can be treated like they're guilty. This is prisoner training. That's what the groping is all about in the microwave ovens. It's throwing the precept of innocent until proven guilty into guilty, 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 government is your God, and the TSA, as we mentioned earlier, coming to a shopping mall and a highway checkpoint near you. They're just gearing up for the total collapse of society and setting the precedent that they can do whatever the hell they want.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, this seems to be sliding towards a Chinese-type society where they just come, grab you, put you in a hole, don't tell you or your family where you're going to be. We had this happen with Wei Chen some months ago, and then there was an outcry of people. People came to his aid. Well, what happened, Alex? Well, just this week, there was a trial against this man. He was sentenced to 9 years in prison, and he was never even allowed to make a statement. Following up on that, 3 days later, we have the same thing happening to another Chinese political dissident. And we don't even have the freedom of the press in this world anymore. We now have Swedish journalists who have been convicted of basically going against the state and now will serve 11 years in prison. And we have to protect ourselves from these megalomaniacs that would prosecute any purveyors of free speech and freedom.
Well, you're right. Look, the criminal class thought that they could just ignore the alternative media. But we have become the mainstream media, not just in information, being truthful, but in total viewers. And it was a couple of years ago we passed the Rubicon where so-called alternative media together is bigger than all the so-called mainstream media who put the crown on their own head. It's the emperor's new clothes. We are the real media. The system knows it. So now they've got this new Internet Act, which in their own words shuts down free speech. And now they've got the NDAA. All those that said, oh, you're crazy. The government isn't going to secretly arrest Americans. They're not going to get rid of posse comitatus, even though we'd been to the urban warfare drills and witnessed it. Now it's all just passé. Yeah, there's a world government. Yeah, the military is going to arrest you. I mean, it's just open authoritarianism. And as the Bill of Rights and Constitution goes out the window, notice the economy went out the window with it. Oh, so people that said, well, I'm not bad, you know, I'm not worried about a tyranny. It doesn't matter if you're not bad. If you were bad and evil, they'd hire you to work for them. It's not, I have nothing to hide. That's why you got a problem. They want you to be their slave. They want to eat your lunch. They want to dominate you. because that's what crooks do. If you were a bad person and had something to hide, you'd go work for them, dummies. Okay? Get that? All the time people say, well, I don't care if they secretly arrest people and torture them because I haven't done anything wrong. Hey, jackass. Don't you understand a lot of people didn't do anything wrong to Stalin? That's why he wanted them. They were just little farmers that weren't dependent on him. So he killed them. Hitler, the same thing. Mao Zedong, Pol Pot. Julius Caesar, grow up, grow up. You're in danger, jackass, because the criminals see you as a chump who'll put up with anything.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you talked about the faltering economy, because we have big stores like Kmart and Sears just announcing, you know what, we're going to have to shut down 100+ stores. We have banks such as Bank of America, JP Morgan. They're saying they're going to fire 150,000 people this year alone. Maybe this will help them to hide from the American public and the world populace that they're basically insolvent at this point, even though you have heads of the IMF coming out and saying, well, we really are in a global depression right now and we're not sure where the economy's actually going to be going. All this while our sitting president has now broken the record for the most money raised for any campaign of a presidency ever, and it's not even 2012. He is projected to have raised $200 million this year alone. Let's compare that to the real frontrunner out there, Ron Paul. Some people have the numbers at about 12.6 million. Some people have the numbers at 15 million. You know, let's give him 20 million. That's a tenth of what the man in office is spending. And who has more support on the streets, Alex? Who has more signs out there than anybody else?
No.
Who
Ron
has the word of
Paul,
mouth?
on average, his donation is about $25. With Obama, it's all these billionaire fat cats, and you've got all these moron Democrats thinking he's going to save them from something when he's bankrolled by the various people that are bankrolling Gingrich and all these other scumbags like Romney. I mean, it is so transparent. Well, undoubtedly, 2012 is going to be a crazy year. In closing, what are your predictions or perspectives on what you think is going to happen in this coming big 2012?
Well, I really hope that people get off their butts and get out there and say no to this NDAA bill, especially if it is signed by the White House. I really feel like they're biding their time. They're waiting for another distraction, another disaster to do it under the cover of night. And if this thing passes, all you occupiers out there, all you Tea Parties out there, everybody who has any bit of semblance in their heart for freedom must get out to D.C., must get out to the lawn of the Capitol and the White House and say no to this, because it's not only un-American, it is against humanity, Alex.
Well, you're right. The whole world now says, well, we'll secretly arrest and torture and kill because America, the good guys, do it. I mean, we've now become an open tyranny. Jason Bermas, thank you so much for spending time with us. We've had on screen your Twitter account. Is that the best place for folks to check out your work?
Absolutely.
All right, Jason Bermas, thank you for giving us your perspective.
Thank you, Alex.
Dr. Ron Paul, more than 4,000 babies delivered, a man of faith, committed to protecting life.
Some people need to have a good word said about them. Ron is the sort of person that his life is his good word.
You know, you just knew that Ron cared about you. Life begins at conception, in my opinion, and as a result, I love to go to a doctor who felt the same way.
He not only protects unborn life, but he also walks through journeys with women, and he has for years.
I love the fact that he hadn't changed in all these years. Ron's still the same guy, still saying the same things, and now all these years later, still standing his ground.
Ron did not let Washington change him.
It's not hard for someone who is a Christian and who truly believes to stay on the right path, and I think that's what kind of person Ron Paul is.
America has to have someone like Ron Paul today. There is no question.